to remind you, you are an overcomer. I don't know what you're going through, but you know your story can change from pain to pain to pain to triumph. And we'll be here waiting patiently to tell your pain to triumph story. Welcome to Unedited. It's another Wednesday already. Oh boy, I hope your week has been good. Mine has been fantastic. And of course, you know that here on 3FM 92.7, we're celebrating mothers. And of course, the whole month of May is our family month. So anything to do with family, yes, we will celebrate it. Shouts to the morning crew from Sunrise with Johnny, Helen, and William. That's right. And then, of course, Black Rasta comes your way 10 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday with the Urban Blend. After that comes in the 3FM Drive with Giovanni and AJ. And here we are, if it's a Wednesday, bringing you Unedited. So last week, after the interview with Vasmin, yes, I had a DM, I had a WhatsApp message, and it led to today's guest. But before that, though, let me share this with you. Now, there are many definitions to a mother, okay? I'm sure that if we were all supposed to pen down what a mother is from our own perspective, we'll have different perspectives. Let me share this with you. A mother's love knows no bounds, and your sacrifices for your children are immeasurable. From carrying a child for 9 months to sleepless nights and endless worries, mothers give your all for their children. Now, for our Exceptional Mother series, we're looking at the journey to becoming the selfless mothers that we're talking about. The mothers who are, making sacrifices that are immeasurable. That process can be very complicated. Yes. For almost all mothers, it's a matter of life and death because the process is not a joke. But sometimes the complication doesn't even come with a mother. It comes with the circumstances surrounding becoming a mother. And my guest today, has a story that the first time I heard it, I thought, even before I checked out her DP and realized that she's been able to document it, I thought, is this a book? Is this a book? And then she tells me, well, I am going to put it in the book, but this is my real life changing story. So ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome, I'm tempted to say, help me to welcome Anagosa, but it's beyond that. It's way beyond having an affiliation with an alma mater. Help me to welcome my guest today. Her name is Ekia Edura Yaboa. Did I get you right? Okay, hold on. Let's try this again. Say hello.
Hello.
Much better. So, is it Ekia
Odura Obeng Yaboa?
Odura Obeng
Yaboa.
Hey, Shalom, do you know more, Drew? Good to have you here finally.
Yes, thank you.
So, I'm going to start from the message you sent to me. Okay, I want to believe you had just listened to Vasmin talk about her own journey. What triggered you to send me the message you sent to me?
It was after Djiboti's interview.
It was after Djiboti's interview.
Then Vasmin forwarded my book.
Okay.
And then Vasmin is like a big sister to me.
Okay.
And she's a great inspiration. So I realized that it could be a life-changing story and journey for someone else, especially in the society we find ourselves in, when young widows are really a little of the society.
What impact did the Djibouti story have on you personally?
Djibouti, it was I lost my dad also at a very tender age while I was in Accra Girls.
Okay.
So that transition really had an impact on me, and seeing all the grief she's gone through, especially with how her grandmother's own affected her and changed her life, made me resonate and have an impact. And it read so much meaning to me, linking it with how my husband's death really changed my life forever.
All right, let's dig into it. Of course. It did. What was it like growing up? You said you lost your dad at a very young age, but prior to that, what kind of family did you grow up in?
I grew up in a nuclear family, so my mom, my dad, and my little sister.
Okay.
And then I went to Dex, then to Accra Girls, then to Valley View. So it was Accra Girls.
You're joking. You went to Dex?
Yes, I went to Dex.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you something later.
So from Dex to Accra Girls, and that was when I lost my dad. And I lost my dad in my second year.
Oh, in your second year? Yes. How old were you then?
I think 13.
13?
Yes.
Wow.
That's when I lost my dad.
I'm sure you still have some very good memories of him.
Yes.
What kind of dad was he?
he was a great dad.
Yeah.
No, there's the society mentality that every child attends their mother's church. But to have a Catholic mom and a Presbyterian dad and have all the kids go to First B, it tells you the kind of dad he was.
Oh, right. So you were closer to your dad.
Yes, I was a daddy's girl.
Yeah, daddy's girl, huh? So he'll pick you up from school, take you around, buy a few, goodies before you get home.
I was so hurt when he died. I asked myself so many questions, and I was tempted to say God had two options. Should have choose one.
Which would have been who? Your mom. Shame on you. Look at this girl. Is your mom listening to us right now? She is. Hello, mommy. It's something she thought of a long time ago, but right now that she's changed her mind long. Yeah, so after Accra Girls, then you moved on to do
Valley View.
Oh, right. What did you study?
HRM.
Nice, interesting. And I'm sure that growing up, every little girl's fantasy, want to get married one day. What did you envisage that your marriage life and your family life was going to be like?
Okay, so along the journey, and I met my husband. We were in the
school?
same church.
Oh, in church, okay.
Yes, so we're in the same church, and he was a great inspiration from afar. And we had been acquainted.
Oh, you were checking him out from afar.
Time.
Don't say he was a great inspiration. Say you were checking him out from afar.
Oh,
okay.
When I say inspiration, anyone listening understands.
Yeah.
Because of his role in the church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
what was he?
He was in the boys' brigade, and he was the captain then in our church.
Oh, cool guy.
And I was in the choir, so sometimes during their parade rehearsal, I'll be sitting up there and watching them.
Watching him. Don't say we're watching them. Watching him.
Watching him till
Okay.
he became a friend.
Okay.
And then he moved. I also joined the brigade later on.
Okay.
And I became his secretary till he died.
So you joined the brigade because of him, not because you wanted to serve.
Oh, no.
You joined because of him. Please, let's be very clear about that. It wasn't a calling. You joined because he was calling you.
He didn't know I was coming for meeting that day.
He didn't need to know. You had an agenda. Okay.
So that's how it happened.
Nice. And you dated for how long?
For 4 to 5 years. Yes. Then we got married in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful ceremony it was, I guess.
Simple and nice.
Simple and nice, huh? So then what? All was good, jolly ride until 2017?
Yes, a year before the wedding.
Oh, a year before the wedding. Oh, I see. So you get married 2018, but in 2017, what happened?
So in 2017, one fine afternoon,
Could you face my microphone for me, please? Thank you.
I was called from work to come to Dampon.
Oh, okay.
Before I got there, they had prepared him and he was in an ambulance, and we were brought to Ridge. And then later on, we were referred to 37. That was when he was diagnosed of pulmonary embolism, which is a condition where his blood clots.
Right.
So there, the doctor said it was a 90-10 situation, and I knew his mom's condition when it comes to her health.
Right.
So I had to massage the message well before she got there.
But the mom was ill as well?
She wasn't ill, but then she has pressure. So
right.
And it's his only son. He had lost his elder brother some years ago. So knowing how it happened, I needed to massage the message well. So it was only after he recovered that he told his mom what really happened. And
prior to that, was he sick?
He wasn't sick. It was just a pain in the chest initially, and then later he said it was his heart, and that was when we realized that there were clots of blood in his lungs. So then at 37, we spent 27 days there, and I was challenged by my boss. My boss asked that he can't keep on making me come to work late because I had to attend to him. So then I told him that then I will have to lay down my job and then take care of him. And
so you left your job?
Then my boss said he had not seen any girl who is that brave, because he wasn't yet married to me. So he gave me the chance where I go to attend to him, and then I come to work afterwards. Around this 3, I leave to go and attend to him till he was discharged.
Wow. Your parents knew that you were putting your job on the line? Your parents didn't know?
No.
Did they know he was unwell?
Until he died, they didn't know.
What are you talking about? So your parents didn't know that he had a condition.
They knew he fell sick, but they didn't know what the condition really was.
Why did you keep it away from them?
I just felt
It wasn't their business.
it wasn't their business. It wasn't something they needed to know. And he himself isn't someone who likes to talk about what he's going through.
Right.
So he's a reason behind the title of the book. He always shrouded his pain behind a smile. So till he died, it was only those who knew his condition that knew what he had been through. But for the 5 years that he had opportunity to live with a condition, most people didn't know that was what he was managing till he died.
So he stays in hospital for 26 days. This is still 2017. And then he recovers and goes home, right? And then you got married the next year. Okay. At this point, he was proper fine. Like, he didn't have any underlying anything.
He was just on anticoagulants. So he does regular INR checks and everything. So he was fine.
He was fine. And then 2018, you got married.
Yes.
Wow. And what were some of the plans you had together as a couple?
So as a couple, we wanted to have a company of our own.
Okay.
It was more into designing and then car washing.
Oh.
Because we loved car washing. So even our wedding photo shoot was a car wash theme.
Both of you love car washing.
Yes.
I see.
So that was the dream. And that was what we...
To own a bay and, pimp it up and all
yes,
of that.
That was the dream. And his dream was also to really take good care of his kids, because he was a lover of kids. He loved kids. So that was the dream, and that was what we were forging on. And then to really help the brigade grow.
Right.
So that was our dream.
That's what he wanted to do. That's what you both believed in. And like you said, he was a lover of kids. So after you got married, you had a child at that time?
Before marriage, from 2014, 2015, I was diagnosed of pulmonary polycystic ovarian syndrome. That is PCOS. So I had irregular cycle and all those. So prior to marriage, I hadn't had my menses in a while. But then I was surprised that I got pregnant. In I think a month or so after the wedding.
I see.
Yes. And I get better.
Such great joy that would have brought to you.
Yeah.
I mean, when you found out that you were pregnant, usually people would say, "Oh, well, I tried that treatment, but you miraculously got pregnant with PCOS."
Yes.
When you tested and your pregnancy test was positive, you remember how you felt?
Yeah, he said I was pregnant.
Oh, he said?
Because we were on a road trip. So he was like, you look pregnant. So on his way back, he bought a test kit. And then we tried and I was pregnant. And it was a joy to me because I wanted to make my mother-in-law happy. Knowing all what life had thrown at her, I knew that the joy she would have and the fulfillment she would have at that time is a grandchild. And one assurance my husband gave me before marriage was that I shouldn't be concerned about my health condition, and that is not what he was looking at as then. What he was looking at was a home, and he knows at the right thing, at the right time, everything will fall in pleasant places. So I was super excited. You have no idea.
So when you told your mother-in-law, guess what? You're going to be a grandma.
Yeah. So we waited till we got back home, and then we did all the hospital checks to be sure and everything, and then we went to her one evening after work, and then we showed the scan to her. She was so excited.
Oh, I can imagine. Yes. So then what? You started making plans about, okay, our life's about to change a bit because the baby coming in, start buying stuff, and what are some of the adjustments you had to make?
Okay, so one of the main adjustments we had to make was the room, how to create room for a baby's cot and everything. And then another thing, one thing I loved so much was the fact that he attended every antenatal with me.
Is it?
And then in the labor ward, he was present.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, interesting. So you had a full term?
I had my first child was 36.5 weeks.
Okay.
I saw blood and I had to go to the hospital.
Yes.
And that was the Easter Monday. So my whole labor period, I bled from around 11 p.m. to around 12 p.m. the next day that I gave birth.
Wow. And it was a boy or girl?
Girl.
Wow. What's her name? Okay. How's she doing now?
I lost her.
Oh, you lost her?
Yes.
Is it? So you had her for how long?
She was 9 months, 2 weeks when she died.
9 months, 2 weeks.
Almost 10 in one.
Oh no. Complications from birth or?
No. Not complications from birth, but then the morning we left her, and whilst I was at work, my husband, he's so wise. So he just told me that I wasn't feeding, so I should come back home.
Okay.
Then on my way home, he was like, meet us at Dampong. Then he said, no, come to 37. Then I got to 37 and my baby was brought on a stretcher with oxygen and everything. And I was like, D, what's happening? Because we all left here at home, well, bubbly and everything. He was also on his way to work when mommy called that he should come back. So this is what is happening. He was told that she choked and became breathless while I was feeding. So at 37, they couldn't hear, because her lungs were filled with the meal. So she was rushed to intensive care immediately for intubation. And then we were told that our presence there wasn't necessary in ICU, so we should go home. But in case there's an emergency, they will call us. So the next dawn around 4 a.m., we were called to come immediately. And I don't even know how we got from 23 to 37.
You were asked to leave the baby
and go home
in ICU?
Yeah. Then we came back at dawn. And
is that the practice? Is that what you found out is the practice?
They said over there our presence is not necessary, so we can only maybe sit in our car or something, but then
not in the ward.
Yeah. So we left. We came at 4 a.m. and we're told that everything we see on the diagnostics machine is chemically induced, and that she had a cardiac arrest some few hours ago. So we should brace ourselves for the worst or the good. But then we should wait for the doctors to come around 9, and then they will tell us the way forward. Then we went for a walk. We went to pray. I asked my husband why the enemy wants to make me a laughing stone at this point, because I know how much I prayed for this child and how much I felt that my enemies have been shut up because I've been able to put to bed. Then he said, whatever happens, I should know that God is in control. Then we met his doctor. And he was also part of the team taking care of her. And he gave us a lot of what will happen should she survive and everything. Not only at the time when he was telling us the negativity of if she survives, he was trying to prep us for the news that had happened where she had already passed on. So he told us that just to prep us before the doctors better. So when we got back to the ICU, we heard the nurses saying the parents are in. And we went to the ward and we were told that she had passed. When we were told that she had passed, the only thing we asked of them was to give us the chance to see her before anything else is done. So we went to stand by her body, and then we touched her, we prayed, and then we went back to the conference room, and then we had to wait for the morgue guys to come in. We just held our hands and we cried, and the only thing he told me was that all is not lost yet because I still have him. And that was my hope, and that was what gave me the faith to move on and the strength to move on.
How did your mother-in-law take this?
It was a big blow to her. We had to get a counselor to go home with us to go and break the news to her, and she almost passed that day. But she couldn't forgive herself because she felt she maybe did a mistake by giving our child to someone to feed. So and she had hope that she also had pain that the fact that a child named after her died. So she always grieved, and it was really so much pain to her because that was her body in the house. When we go to work, it's just she and the little girl. So it was a big blow to her, but after some time she got better.
Initially, in the early stages, did you, be honest with me, did you think that she had been a bit careless?
We tried not to do that, but then she's human, so she would feel that way. But then one thing that my husband and I did was, she died on a Thursday. She was buried on a Saturday. The Sunday we went to church. It was a a brigade program. So we wore our brigade uniform and went to church like nothing had happened. And after church, we told them that we need to take some break away from family and visit and everything. So we went away for a week.
Okay.
And then we came back afterwards, and we just tried to speak to her to understand her mistakes, but in the right way, so that she also doesn't get offended. And then and we promised that when a new one comes, she would enjoy. So she didn't think about what had happened, and that is it.
How did your family take it as well? I mean, I'm sure they probably got to know the fact that, you know, on that particular day, somebody else was feeding. Or you didn't tell them?
We didn't tell them.
Okay.
We didn't tell them till my first interview. We didn't tell them. My husband didn't see the need, and my mother-in-law herself didn't even tell people that she wasn't the one feeding the child.
So what you sent me here, there's a part where you say not many men will date a woman for how long we have, and still go ahead to honor her through marriage. What do you mean by that?
We dated for long. We dated for 4 to 5 years, and it was under it was a phase where family had issues with the marriage.
Okay.
And so, but he still forged on. He still tried to bring peace between the families, and then it happened. So for me, it was an honor being his wife, and I'm still proud of him wherever he is.
So how did this impact on your marriage? I mean, after the baby died and the circumstances around, you know, her leading to the hospital and all of that, did that take a toll on your relationship?
Okay, so the one thing I learned, or the lesson I learned, is that the mistake most couples or young couples do growing up is that when they get a baby, they lose the relationship or the marriage, and then they try to pour all their attention and love on the child. But then whilst you are doing that, you don't lose the essence of the marriage. The relationship still goes on. So that if there is a change, you don't find it difficult to come back to how you used to be. And that was how we were, like, regardless of baby or not, we still had our date nights, we still had our road trips. So the bond was still there. And he realized that should he give up on me, I would also give up on myself because of what I've been through in life. So he tried so much to pull me along wherever he was going through.
I mean, when you May is Mother's Month, right? After you lost your baby and all of that, how did you survive during days like this? I mean, this is you who had probably received, or you had received your first Happy Mother's Day, right?
No, it was, I lost her before. Yeah, I received my first Mother's Day a month after her birth.
After her birth.
And then I was expecting the second
one.
And that was when I lost her. But then he made that Mother's Day
extra special.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah. And after that, what happened afterwards with marriage? Were you deliberately trying to get get pregnant again, or you were hoping that, you know, chance would just happen like it did the first time?
So with that one, that was when I started serious medications, because the society started putting pressure. People see you and they tell you when your child dies and you need to give birth early, if not there will be no more childbirth again. And
who was telling you these?
People in society. And because I can dress up going to work and somebody can just see me and tell me that fire war, child life now born one, I'll be and all those things. But then
were these family people, friends, or these were just regular people
who live in the community
who knew what you were going through? Would tell you that what
fire war na child life now open. And sometimes I get so hurt. There was a day I had to come back home. I came to tell my mother-in-law and my husband at home what somebody had just told me in the neighborhood, and they wanted to go and fight.
What did that person say to you?
She was like, she was the one who said me fire what I mean child life now me open. And it really did get to me that morning because I was going to work. So my husband called my boss to tell my boss that I'm not feeling well, so I'm coming to work. And then they kept me at home just to keep me better. But then afterwards, 6 months after Awo died, Mommy also died. That's my mother-in-law.
Oh.
Yes, so 6 months after she died. She died one Saturday evening in our arms, and that was another phase for
She had been sick for a while.
She had recovered, so we really understand, but then she left.
How did your husband take that? And how did you take that as well? Because I get the sense that you had become pretty close with her.
Yeah, I'm very close to my mother-in-law. She fixed my wedding tiara for me.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm very close to her. I really loved the kind of bond she brought between the family. If you're not really close to the family, you won't know who is an in-law and who is a child. She brought unity amongst us. So it was a big blow to me, but then it was a big blow to my husband. My husband really loved his mom. And no one saw him grieving the way I saw him grieve, because in the midst of people, he's a man, so he needs to be strong. But then looking at videos of the funeral later on, you see how much he went to stand by his mom and always crying, and how sometimes he goes to work and he can just drive to the cemetery to go and visit his mom. And it was consistent. And when I took seed again, he was like, he really wished mommy waited to see this happen.
Wow. Well, if you just join us, this is Unedited on 3FM 92.7. We continue our Exceptional Mother series. Today our guest is Akuya. Akuya is sharing her journey or her experience of being a single mom and widowed as well. She's sharing the circumstances leading to, her present status. And she's been sharing, a lot about having a baby with PCOS and that joy, being taken away after she lost the baby, and sharing her experience with her husband, and of course the mother-in-law and the bond that they had prior to her death. So your mother-in-law died 6 months after you lost your first baby, and then of course, it must have been a really tough time. And then you started treatment to try and get pregnant again. Did it happen anytime soon after that?
So I died in February and I got pregnant around August. But I didn't even know around the August that I was pregnant. So I got to know I was pregnant during the time that we were grieving for my mother-in-law's death.
Okay.
That was when I got to know I was pregnant. So during the whole funeral, I was about 3 months pregnant during the funeral. And I gave birth another April. That's what I see, that the beauty after the dark clouds.
Why was April very significant to you?
Because our was 23rd April 2019, and lady is 16th April 2019, exactly a week before her sister.
Oh, so April is a very special month.
Yeah, and that's why I say that. I always say that when God takes something from you, you don't understand it. It's like when you have a gift for your baby and you're taking the old one to give the new one to the baby. The baby doesn't understand why you're taking the old one and cries bitterly. Yeah. But then when you give the new one back to it, there's a sort of enjoyment for the replacement. Yeah. So I see it as when he took our, I didn't understand why he took our, but when lady came in, he did it for his glorification, so that we get to understand that he took it for a purpose and he was going to replace it for us at the right time.
When lady finally came out and you saw her, do you remember how you felt?
I remember the scenario because I was in the labor ward with my husband.
Okay.
And I just heard him saying that mommy, and I was like, mommy, and he was like, you wait, when they showed her to you. So when they showed her to me, I was like, wow,
she looks so much like your mother-in-law.
So much like my mother-in-law.
Wow.
A replica of her.
Oh my.
So it was so much joy for all of us. My sister-in-law was at the reception waiting whilst my husband and I were in the labor ward, and we were all so excited to see her.
And what kind of baby was she? Was she the crying type? Was she the, always suckling?
She suckles a lot. She doesn't like bottle.
Okay.
So she likes to take from source. And afterwards, she wants to go and be with the dad.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of baby she is.
She is.
Yes.
Okay. And do you think that your having her helped your husband to deal with his grief of, the passing of a mother?
It really did help him. And I remember during her christening, there were a few tears at the christening because of the name we gave to her. So we gave her back my mother-in-law's name, but not the name we named the first child. But
Okay.
then we named her again after my mother-in-law, and it was a memorial for the people present who understood our journey.
All through your journey to where we've gotten to now, because there's still a lot more to talk about. What are some traits about yourself that you didn't know, you possessed until situations, occurred and you realized, oh, I am this, I am that I never thought, I was made of.
I never thought I would be this strong because I'm a crying baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I never thought I would be able to even overcome my child's death, and let alone overcome my mother-in-law's own. But then I realized that I got someone that is my husband who could speak to me and move me to do things. So I always tell people that who you are enjoying now is a product of my husband's hard work, because left for me alone, I would have just crawled into my shell and shut society away from me.
I'm sure there were many times you wanted to do that.
There were suicidal thoughts.
Oh, there were? At what point?
At the point where I lost my child and I lost mommy, and I didn't, and he became sick and I was pregnant, and I was asking myself why all these, because I felt this baby is supposed to bring him joy. Is he going to die before the baby comes out? And I had so many questions, but then I had to resonate and then see that whatever is happening is...
Did you try to take your life?
The time I tried to take my life was after his death. But then I looked at my child and I realized that there was hope, and that I needed to be strong for her. And I made a commitment to my husband the day before he died, when he said where he's gotten to, he's not fighting anymore. So I had to hold on to that commitment and then forge ahead.
So you had lady. That was. Are you okay? Should I give you a moment?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So you had lady. That was what, last year?
2021.
2021.
She's 2 now.
Okay. And you said that when you were pregnant, your husband fell sick. Was it the same condition that had come back again, or this was something else?
It was the same condition. So in December, he went for their review meeting, which was outstation. So he called me and said, "Lady, I've seen blood." And I was like, "Then call your doctor." And he was like, "He's over thin, so he should stop his medication." So he stopped for some time, and then in February he said he was not feeling well. So he went for his normal scans and then the lab called the doctor straight to tell him that we are bringing your patient because his coagulation is very low and the clots are coming back. And that scene was more scarier than what I saw before we got married. And his doctor had issues with me also coming to the hospital and being heavily pregnant, because it was the time of COVID. And he was like, if I keep coming there, and my contracted and my mode of delivery will be different. Then I told him that I don't really care how my mode of delivery was going to be. What was of importance to me was that I made a vow, and in sickness and in health, I still need to be with him. And no one will do it better than I'll do it for him. So he was there for another 3 weeks, came back home, went back again, and then he was discharged exactly a month before Lady was born.
So he came home?
Yeah, and we went to the labor ward together.
And you went to the labor ward together with him, and then Lady was born. And then what happened?
And then I guess September, October were the most challenging months in 2021 for me. There were several nights I could see him die, but then it didn't happen.
What do you mean you were several nights you could see him die?
He has seizures in his sleep, or you see him having his eyes wide open and screaming, or like covering his hands. And he was on medication, so he got to a point where the only reason why he needs to go to the hospital was to take oxygen. So then we had our personal oxygen cylinder, which he had in his car at home or wherever he goes to. So when he feels breathless, he just fixed it. Then fast forward to the December where so it was a series. So the Wednesday before he died, he requested that his pastor friend comes pray for him and have communion with him. And then the next day, he invited another pastor to come over to thank me for everything I've done for him.
All this time when he was asking pastors to come home and pray for him and have communion, didn't you question what's going on? Why are you asking pastors to come home?
What made me question him was the fact that he asked the pastor to come and thank me, because every time I do something for you, you say thank you. Then he was like, not every woman will want to risk her young life for a man that he knows will die even a day after they get married. But then I decided to risk my young life to marry him regardless of his condition. So he needed to appreciate me.
It means that when he had his first crisis, you were told the risk involved. You knew. The doctors told you?
He could die at any time.
Oh, they told you?
Yes, he could, because they said the cloth had melted though. But if any one of them should dislocate to his heart, that's the end of his life. So I knew he could die today, he could die tomorrow. But then I believe that everyone in life has the opportunity to enjoy love, and that medical condition shouldn't be the reason why somebody shouldn't experience love.
I see. So then he started asking pastors to come home.
Yeah.
And coming to thank you.
Yeah, so when after that scene, he requested for his favorite meal. So I went to buy it for him. And then he didn't even eat that much. So the Sunday was the top of the iceberg, where he called me and told me that he couldn't do it anymore and that he was giving up. And the question I asked him was, is he expecting me to be showing pictures to lady to tell her that this is your father? I can't do it. I don't know how to do motherhood alone without you, because you've been my greatest support. My first child, my second child, you are the one who takes the child for weighing. I don't go for weighing because of the nature of my job. But you have so much time on your hand. So for all the kids, you take them to weighing. So how are you expecting me to do all this on my own? I don't know a lot of things. I learned motherhood because of your mom and you. Then he said he knows I can do it. Then he made me call my sister-in-law, and they had a chat, and then he requested for chicken soup, and then afterwards he slept. So at dawn, he kept on asking for the time. Then around 3, he called his doctor to tell his doctor that he doesn't feel well, so he wants to come to the hospital. First, he wanted my cousin to drive him because he lived close by, but then my cousin got there and he said no, none of us should drive him, we should call for an ambulance. So Dampon came home to pick him, and then we got to 37, and they have his system. So when they saw it and they were asking him questions, he said, my wife knows everything, and whatever my wife said, it's true. Then after some time, they asked that I get him bed mats. So I went for the bed mats. I came back and they were doing CPR. Then I saw one of the nurses crying, and they lied to us that he was not dead. But then I've been in this situation with him for 5 years, so I know the pros and cons. So I knew where he was lying, and if he is not dead, there wouldn't be a blindfold around him. I had been at emergency for several times, so I knew what is done. So I was just monitoring where he was lying. So then there was oxygen in the balloon on his mouth. So after some time, I realized that there was no chest movement.
Okay.
And then after some minutes, the balloon became flat. So then I knew he was gone till they make the pronouncement. But the first person I called when I knew he was gone was my former boss, Rebecca Nyami. And then I don't know how she left her office and came to the hospital. And another friend of mine, Mina Forsen. And the only thing my boss said when she came there was, in the year King Hosea died, I saw the Lord. And that word has been with me from that December till now. Anytime I feel sad, anytime I want to give up, I just remember those words she spoke to me. And that was how my identity changed.
Wow.
Unedited, real life-changing story.
The Lord does give a lot of hope.
Show me love.
Yeah.
Starts with love
And you were stuck with Lady,
Yeah.
and you wanted to take your life and leave this little child because you couldn't do it any longer.
It was one Sunday afternoon, and I was tired. I didn't know what to do. And she was asking for something that was beyond my strength at that moment.
What was she asking for?
So I began to cry, and I just saw her coming over to me to wipe my tears, and that broke my heart. And that's what changed my mind.
I'll give you a moment, okay? I'll give you a moment. We'll be right back. All right, guys, so it's still unedited. Yes, it's quite a heavy one, isn't it? Yes, it is.
You're right there.
It's still our Exceptional Mother series, and we're talking about, you know, the journeys, the experiences that mothers don't tell. A lot of women don't talk about. You know what I mean? And as we mark Family Month on 3FM 92.7, we've taken upon ourselves here on Unedited to share some of these life-changing stories. I mean, some of these experiences, when it happens to you, are never the same again. You cannot be the same again. I'm in the studio with Ikea. I don't even know how to summarize her story, because it's quite it's just a great deal, you know. But I'm particularly proud of you that in spite of everything that you have been through, and you probably still are going through, you're keeping your head up. You still have a sense of purpose, and instead of letting the situation break you, you're keeping strong. Have you always wanted to write this book? Or you just felt, look, I have this experience could bless a lot of people? Tell me how the whole book idea came to mind.
So you see, during grieving periods, you have a lot of people around you.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned from the time of my mother-in-law's passing was that society are around you till the day of the burial, and then you are left alone to navigate life. So when my husband died, I didn't allow anyone's presence to move me. I was trying to get used to my new normal. But then sometimes when you happen to find solace in people and you speak about how you feel, society don't understand you. So I shielded myself, and I began to write everything I felt. Then along the way, so when my child died, I began my blog, which is the daily inspirational from AOY on WordPress. Then when my husband died, after some time, my friend Mina said, the things I write, the things I share, we can do a YouTube video that will bless other people, because the things you say in your story can change someone else's life. So then I began my YouTube channel where I share general motivation on not to give up. And I realized that whilst writing and whilst asking my whys, I found my purpose. I asked myself several times why I had to go through all these casseroles of losses at a very tender age.
Have you been able to answer these questions?
I just realized that the purpose I had to go through it is to bless someone. Sometimes what life throws at us is not for us, but it's for us to use it to bless someone else.
When you sit back and you ask yourself these questions, and like you said, what you discern is that you bless other people, do you sometimes feel like, Lord, this is way too much just to inspire somebody else?
It's way too much. It breaks me. It makes me ask why me. But then I realized that whatever you go through, He is with you, and He will walk you through. And then if you have people around you that have positive vibe and understand what you go through, they make you see a better version of yourself. And this is the point where I always want to thank Fasmin and Nina for always being there.
How are you managing motherhood now? You live alone with Lady?
Yes.
You live all alone?
Yes.
With a little girl?
Yes.
But you could have moved in with your parents, or where you have fortunately for our society, there's always somebody else who can give you a helping hand. Was it by choice?
Yeah, it was by choice.
Why?
I chose to. that aspect she's talking about was given to me as a choice. But then I chose to leave alone. I felt that was the only way I could manage my grief, and I could move on peacefully and sanely. And I wanted to do it on my own.
It is difficult to do it on your own.
Yes.
I know that you're strong and all, but don't you think that if you have a complement of maybe family support or somebody that you trust to support you in this journey, you may be able to deal with certain parts of grief better?
I always say that life isn't all about, family isn't all about blood. But then family is supportive, even though I'm not with them.
Okay.
But then at this point in time, I felt that was the best choice I had to make for my child and I.
How old is she now?
She's 2 and a month.
She's 2 and a month. Are there things that she does that reminds you so much of your husband?
She's a replica of her dad.
What does she do?
So an example was this dawn.
What happened this dawn?
I picked her up sleeping last night from school. So she came home already asleep. And then at 2 a.m. she wakes up and she tells me, "Mommy, me and sausage. Me is indomie and then sausage." And that's a typical meal of his dad in the evening.
Okay.
And she wouldn't, and I felt it was too early for the day. And she wouldn't even take any other option unless I did that. Then she put my hands to the kitchen till I fixed her that. And there are many other things that she does that reminds us of mommy and then my husband.
If you look back now, is there any part of your journey that you wish, if you had power to go back into time, you would change?
I sometimes my sister-in-law and I say that if maybe our didn't die, all these wouldn't have happened. But then we also say that God knew what he was doing and what he wanted to birth out of it. And I always say that my husband's life was a miracle. He could have died 5 years ago. He could have died even after we got married. He could have died the February before Lady was born. But I saw it as God just wanted him to leave, get another seed, and leave a footprint behind, something we can hold, feel, and touch, and know that this is Nana Kwesi Obinyebu's legacy.
Interesting. All right. So I'm going to activate the phone lines briefly. If you have a contribution or a few words of encouragement for Ikea, would love to hear it. Okay? 0592-928-795 and that's 0592-928-795. That's 0592-928-795. If you want to give us a call on the show this evening, it will be 0592-928-795. That's 0592-928-795. I'm going to go on Facebook as well and read some of your messages there. But when is your book coming out?
August. God willing.
I see. And what's the plan for it? Are you planning to have what form is it going to be when you're launching it?
A book launch.
It's a book launch. I'll hold your thought for a minute. Let me take this quick call. Oh, lost it. Okay, keep it coming. 0592-928-795. That's 0592-928-795. Let's try this again. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Who am I speaking with? Could you kindly turn down the volume of your radio set for me, please?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, now.
You've done that. Fantastic. Yeah, so let's hear you.
Okay, so the story, and I'm so touched, and I want to say, may God bless her so much. She's a strong woman, and may God continue to strengthen her. I'm so touched by her story. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your call. We've got lots of messages on Facebook. I'm going to try and read as many as I can. This one says, okay, wow. Okay, give me a moment. So God is still your covering. You have done amazing. That's from Wilhelmina Mamiesi Forson on Facebook. Let me go back on the line. Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Anthony from Turkey.
Anthony. Can you kindly speak up a bit for me, please?
Pardon?
Yes, I can hear you now. You're calling us from where?
Turkey.
From Teshi. Okay. Tony, what would you like to say?
Like, I'm so touched by the story. I'm even crying.
Oh.
I just want God to bless her for being strong through all this kind of situation, and I hope everything will be okay for her again.
Amen. Tony, thank you so much for your call. Maybe we'll take one more call. I see Samani is already in the studio getting ready for the news at 8. Hold on, Samani. 0592-928-795. Keep it coming. 0592-928-795. This one from AW Fateman says, "It is well with you. God will use you mightily to touch many." From Pastor AB, your mate from VVU. Oh, you know him. Okay. Another says, "Amazing story. You're a strong woman. God has got you." Nana Roxanne, I'm more with that. Helena Manemu Hooper says, "Lots of love and hugs to you, dear." Ikuya, let me take one more call, and then that'll be it for the calls. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, who am I speaking with?
My name is Godwin.
Hi, Godwin.
Yes, I'm really touched with the story, but there's one thing I want to tell her. I want to encourage her. She should expect more miracles because the husband is still by her.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. We've got to be wrapping this up. So, book is launching in August. Okay. And what's the title again?
Behind the Smile.
Behind the Smile. I have to be there.
Yes.
I'm gonna MC that program.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So that we can reach a lot more people to bless people. Like you said, your purpose is to bless other people with your story. I'll take one last call, and then I'll take your final words. Hello?
Miriam.
Yes. Hey. Juju, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening. What would you like to say
Good
to her?
evening to your guests as well. Miriam, I know it's not easy. You know, I've been there before.
Yeah.
But we normally say that with Christ in the boat, we will smile at the storm.
Amen.
Once we have life, there's hope. She should be strong as a woman. All is well.
Amen.
Good
Indeed it
evening.
is. Good evening, Juliet. All right, guys, that's it. We've got to be wrapping up. But Ikuya, what would be your final words? What would you like to say to anybody who is going through very difficult times and wondering, will I make it? Will I survive this? What will be your words of encouragement to a mother out there?
I want them to know that God is with you. At your lowest point, He's there. At your good point, He's there. One thing that as society and human beings we tend to lose is that we focus so much on what we are dealing with that we lose sight of the little miracles He does for us every day.
Absolutely.
So I always say that live within the moments and the seasons you find yourself in and enjoy that season, because you won't get that season again, and learn from that season so that when the new season comes in, you don't miss the season before. So in every season that life throws at you, enjoy it, embrace it, learn from it, and move forward with the lessons and memories from that season.
All right. Thank you very much, Akwa. Mami Adjoa Kand is a producer of the show. Kukwa Nimble on social media. Amaka says I didn't shout her out the last time, so shout to you, Amaka, as well from Digital, and of course DJ Phil on the ones and two. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show. You can always go back to Facebook 3FM 92.7 to watch this show again or watch this episode again. We're back next week as we continue our Exceptional Mother series. Don't forget, the whole month of May is a family month for 3FM 92.7. Have a great evening. I'll catch you next week.